Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. If you're new here, I'm Melissa. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this as I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday. Subscribing to my channel really helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color and tons of free LCSW test prep for those of you that are studying to become LCSWs or LMFTs. And I have a study program entitled Social Work Study with Melissa, available for purchase in the description box down below. If you're interested, it's a 10-week study program developed for those of you that were reaching out to me for tutoring services, because I don't have the time or the scheduling to do that right now. I developed this study plan, which is what I would use if I actually was able to do tutoring services. So feel free to check that out in the description box down below. Today, I want to look at a LCSW test prep question on bartering or to barter. So this is the verb, and to barter is to exchange goods or services for other goods or services without using money. So I want to look at an LCSW test prep vignette question, and we're going to talk a little bit about this and kind of what's expected of you as a LCSW or a therapist if this were to come up. I do want to preface this with saying, if you do live in a community where it is a very small sort of town-like vibe, and that's just how you do exchange services for one another, and there's not really any other way to receive payment, or this is just like a commonly accepted thing in your community, which is not very likely or not too common nowadays. But if that is the case, then you're going to want to consult with your state's LCSW Social Work Board guidelines just to make sure. But for the most part, this isn't something that is normally done in modern day times. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question so that you can get a better idea. All right, so go ahead and pause, read this question and then answer it, and then come back and compare your answer to mine. A client presents to his therapist's office. The client has been seeing the therapist for about 8 months now, consistently every week. The therapist knows the client well and they have a strong therapeutic rapport. The client shares with the therapist that he's very happy with her therapy services and wants to thank her by rebuilding her therapy website for free excuse me, since he is a web developer. The therapist cannot afford to hire someone and feels comfortable with this client and knows he respects boundaries. What is the most appropriate response from the therapist? All right, so I didn't really mark this question up too much because I was thinking everything in this vignette is pretty beneficial to know. So it's a client and a therapist. They have a very strong rapport. The client is very happy with the therapist, and he works as a web developer. They've been meeting for quite a while, and the therapist feels comfortable with him and understands that he respects boundaries. So let's take a look. Most appropriate is kind of like in line with what we've been talking about with the most recent previous videos that I've been putting out there on those best, most, next, first questions. So make sure you take a look at those videos as well. So that means that there may be more than one appropriate answer, but we want to find the one that we want to triage and prioritize, the one that is the most appropriate. Okay, so option A, ask the client what the gift means to him and accept. Okay, I really like asking the client about their meaning behind gift giving, or what it means culturally to them to give a gift, what this gift in particular, doing a website for her, means to him, because it really opens up the conversation. And again, open-ended questions and statements are really important in therapeutic dialogue, right? Because it allows the client to really express their feelings, and we get a better idea of what this means to him. So he tells the therapist that he's so appreciative of her services. And so I want to know more about that, right? Like, I want to know, does he believe in his culture or in his profession that that's the only way to thank somebody, because that would be helpful information, because if that is the case, then this is something they can talk through. Accepting is kind of what makes this a no. And reason being is for the reasons that I had mentioned earlier at the beginning of this video, in that, you know, if it's like socially accepted in this small community that you live in, and bartering is really the only sort of way that the community members exchange like monetary value for things, then that would probably be appropriate. But again, because in modern day times and in a lot of our communities, this is not really like bartering is not like really accepted anymore, that would not be appropriate. So we're going to assume that this client and this therapist are in a major metropolitan city. So we're going to say like maybe Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or something like that. And so for that reason, we're going to go ahead and say that's not the correct answer. Option B, inform the client that he is being inappropriate. So in this vignette, we don't really see that he's being inappropriate. Like, I mean, this doesn't seem like he is deliberately trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable, that he's going out of his way to make this therapy session an uncomfortable one. He probably maybe truly really believes that he is doing a nice thing. And so we don't want to start off by saying that he's being inappropriate. I mean, we might look at this if, you know, this is like the 10th time he is offering, for example, like he's refusing to say no, he's refusing to accept the answer no, then that might be inappropriate, and then boundaries should be discussed. However, this is the first time it's coming up, and we really, again, want to know like what this means to him. So he's saying that he appreciates the therapy services, and so what does this mean to him? So just straight out saying you're being inappropriate would actually probably, I would say, maybe harm or hurt the therapeutic rapport that has been built up, and we don't want to do that. So for that reason, we're going to say that's not the answer. Option C, ask the client to share what showing his appreciation means to him. So that's kind of like what we read up here in the first option, and decline the offer. Okay, so the difference here again is that instead of accepting in option A, he's declining. Let's read option D just to compare. Option D, decline the offer, okay, but inform him once he is no longer a client, he can help her. So I would say that this kind of blurs the boundary setting, because even if they terminate and he's no longer her client, she still has a lot of obviously sensitive information about him. And so we don't want to get into those sort of dual relationships. Oh, and actually, this is interesting. I haven't done a video on dual relationships, I don't think. So maybe I'll do that as my next video. Comment down below if dual relationship vignette practice test questions would be helpful, or if you know about them, enough about them already, because I don't want to seem redundant or do a video that may not be that helpful to you. So let me know in the comment section below. So anyway, back to option D. So again, what I was saying, we don't want to have any sort of dual relationship. The dual relationship would be previous client and now website developer. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and say no. And then that leaves us with option C. So what we were saying, ask the client to share what showing his appreciation means to him. So yeah, we really want to understand like where he's coming from. Like, what does this mean to him? As we were kind of talking about with option A, and decline the offer. And then, you know, even to go a step further and explain why you're declining the offer, right? Like, you're more than capable and able to do that. And that can mean, again, kind of processing, allowing him to process what that appreciation means to him, and then declining the offer, and, you know, providing like justification as to why you're declining it. You can tell him, like, you know, we just want to make sure that you know that appreciation, whatever that means, you can be showed in a different way through words, and, you know, we're not allowed to really accept gifts or bartering in that way in our profession, and that's okay. You can let the client know. So again, option C is going to be the answer. How did you guys do on this question. Do you have any questions on this question? Did you get it right, wrong? Was it hard? Was it easy? I really want to get a gauge on these sorts of questions so I can either understand if I'm making them too easy or too hard. So let me know by giving me some data in the comment section below so that I know and I can kind of understand how to do the vignettes a little bit more. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, managing mental health matters.